Okay, down to business. We have 3 candidates here tonight on the Republican ticket for state representative for the 110th district. They are Darrell Cox, Kevin Garner, and Reggie Phillips. There are 4 candidates running for the county clerk's position. Here with us tonight is Karen Bowman, Tom Compton, and Fayreen Wright on the Republican ticket. Teresa Fielder is running unopposed on the Democrat ticket. We also have 4 candidates vying for the county sheriff's office. Rich Cravens is running unopposed on the Democrat ticket. Earl Deckard, Dave Markway, and Bill Rutan are all on the Republican ticket. Candidates will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves before we begin the questioning. All candidates for a particular office will have the opportunity to answer each question for that office. They will have 1.5 minutes to answer. The timer will start when they begin speaking. And our timekeeper, Mr. Tom Bailey, will indicate to them with a yellow paddle when they have 30 seconds left and signal to them with a red paddle when their time is up. When their time is up, they are to stop talking, finished or not. Time constraints also will not allow for rebuttals, continuations past your allotted time, etc. So, Mr. Bailey, are you ready? Our moderator is Jim Bush, so let's get started.
We'll go ahead and do the introductions. Your introductory 2 minutes, and Darrell Cox, you start.
Good evening. I would like to thank the Wabash Valley Tea Party for the opportunity to be here tonight. I'm Darrell Cox, and I am seeking the Republican nomination for state representative of your district. I got into this race because I felt like we needed a representative from this district to represent us in Springfield. I grew up in Charleston, graduated from Charleston High School, and went on to college at Lake Lane College. I obtained a degree in law enforcement, and at the age of 19, I became a deputy sheriff for the Coles County Sheriff's Office. I was a deputy sheriff until 2006. In 2006, I ran for sheriff in a 3-way contested race in the primary. I won the general election by about 60%. In 2010, I ran a second term and won that election by about 65%. My term will expire at the end of this November. I hold memberships in the Illinois Farm Bureau, Hutton Masonic Lodge. I'm also on the Illinois Sheriff's Association Legislative Committee. I'm a lifetime member of the National Rifle Association, and I currently live on a small farm north of Ashmore, and I'm widowed with no children. Our state is broke, and it is broken. In my campaign flyer, I'm quoted as saying we do not have a funding problem, we have a spending problem. To apply what Ronald Reagan once said, we don't have a $100 billion debt because we haven't taxed enough. We have a $100 million debt because we spend too much. Illinois is drowning in a sea of debt, and our credit rating continues to spiral down. Our democratically controlled governor and legislator continues to borrow and spend money we do not have. I want to be your representative to bring solutions to these spending and debt problems. I want to bring my experience as a law enforcement officer and managing county budgets to Springfield. We need someone who will not compromise our values and, more importantly, not
Thank you. Kevin Garner, your introduction.
I appreciate you having me here tonight. I'm Kevin Garner. I know some of you, most of you know me. I would like to thank Jim and Tyler for this. I'm running for state representative because I believe a representative needs to be a good listener. And I am a good listener. I will and have listened to the people's concerns. I've heard that many folks, just like yourselves, you're sick and tired of elected officials who ignore hardworking people, local businessmen whom they're elected to represent in order to appease those that bought them their seat. I believe that the Tea Party would like to see people leading the government, not the government leading the people. I will work to restore the government back to the people. If you're looking for someone with all the answers, I'm not that guy. If you're looking for someone to be handpicked by former politicians, I'm not that guy. If you're looking for someone to represent a county and not a district, I'm not that guy. If you're looking for someone to buy votes to get elected, or someone to promise things too good to be true, well, I'm not that guy either. Remember, you get what you pay for. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If you're looking for someone to listen to you and represent you, the people of the 110th District, that will not quit on you, then I am that guy. I'm seeking the seat to restore the citizens' voice to Springfield. Far too long, the political big boys in Chicago and Springfield have been picking and funding whom they want to be your representative. People of the 110th District will have my ear, and I assure you I will not quit on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Reggie Phillips, your introduction.
My name is Reggie Phillips. I'm from Charleston, Illinois. I was born and raised in Arthur, Illinois. I also graduated from Blank Land College in 1973 and Eastern Illinois University in 1975. I met my wife in college. She's from Grayville, Illinois. Born and raised on a farm in Grayville. We've been married 38 years. We have 4 children, 2 of the children that work with me in our business. They've been taught from the day they started in our business. It's a earn your way process. Nothing's been given to them. Same as nothing with me. My wife and I have 9 grandchildren. All of us live in this great state. The reason I want to thank you for letting me come today, I want to tell you this. I think that we're applying for a job. And in that job, I think the description is somebody with honesty, somebody that has integrity, somebody that has experience, and somebody that will work hard and has proven that they can make things happen. I believe I can do all of those things for you. I believe somebody that has faith too, because our country has lost that one main ingredient. I believe that's the first thing that we should start with. I'm not trying to be contentious with anything, but I believe that the politics in Illinois, the politicians have lost their way. I don't think it's about them. It's supposed to be about us. They've created it so it's about them now. With their pensions, their health insurance, it's all about them. It's for them. I'm not going to take the pension or the health insurance. And the reason why I don't believe it is because I don't think that's what the original forefathers set this up to be. I believe it was set up so that they would go do their job and do it for every individual in this state, not for themselves. I'll work hard and I'll do my best to change things for this entire district. I will be through every business in this district talking to every one of them. These are
We will begin with the first question, and Darrell Cox, you will answer first. Illinois ranks 47th nationally in unemployment rate. Crawford County unemployment is nearly 10%. How does illegal immigration affect our poor rates, and what do you think our legislators should do to put Illinois citizens back to work?
First of all, it's illegal immigrant and not undocumented worker. As a sheriff, I have firsthand knowledge of how illegal immigration hurts a community. We have a number of illegal immigrants in the construction and restaurant trade in the Coles County area. We have dealt with them firsthand when it comes to crime in the community by illegal immigration and illegal immigrants. We know that illegal immigrants bring crime, and it causes unemployment, and it causes poverty. The reason is twofold. Most of the illegal immigrants that come here illegally are uneducated, and when they do find jobs, the employers take advantage of their status. They don't pay them minimum wage, they don't complete I-9s, they don't withhold payroll taxes. For every 10% increase in illegal immigration, we see about a 5% drop in the wages and about a 4% increase in unemployment. To combat this problem, at the national level, we need to stop the bleeding and secure our borders. Then we need to demand that ICE and Homeland Security deal with illegal immigrants in our communities. And then we also need to go after those employers who use illegal immigrants. We should demand that ICE and Homeland Security enforce federal laws on employers by completing the I-9s, and, just as importantly, Illinois needs to enforce the state labor laws regarding illegal immigration.
Kevin Garner, would you like for me to repeat the question? Illinois ranks 47th nationally in unemployment rate. Crawford County unemployment is nearly 10%. How does illegal immigration affect our poor rates, and what do you think our legislators should do to put Illinois citizens back to work?
Well, it's a challenging question because illegal immigrants are human beings. You know, and I think so many times we try to put them in a box. But they are people. I don't agree with it. I don't want them here any more than anybody does. But they are human beings. So I don't know that we just round them up and ship them back. It's probably not the answer you want. But they're human beings. I think that pretty much I agree with everything that Darrell said. Just to add to that, I don't think it's a good idea that we give them benefits, medical care, driver's license, because that's just encouraging them to keep coming here. It's not deterring anything. And if Darrell and law enforcement are stopping it, well, we're just waving a carrot in front of their ear. And I just don't think it's a good idea whatsoever. I really don't know how to add to that. I pretty much, you took it from me, Darrell. Thank you. But I think we probably all agree on that. But that's pretty much all I have. Thank you.
Reggie Phillips, would you like for me to repeat the question?
I believe the question should be identified whether it's federal, state, or the district. I think you're talking about the unemployment in this district is 10%. So we need to, first of all, break that down as I do in my business. I create a blueprint of what that is and how much it's going to cost me to create that problem or fix that problem. The problem is you have about 1,000 people that aren't working in this district. You break those 1,000 people up into, do they want to work? And if the ones that do want to work, how do we get them a job? And does the illegal immigrant create unemployment in this district? Statewide, it probably is an issue. Statewide, it does probably cause a problem. I know around each one of us that are taxpayers are paying about $2,713 a year for the illegal immigrants with all the other social issues and things that they bring to this. And that is a problem. But district-wise, those 1,000 people, how do we create getting those people jobs? And do the illegal immigrants create that unemployment? I don't believe it does. I believe that what creates that is the fact that those 1,000 people, they're competing with the unemployment rate, unemployment benefits. And I believe there's ways to stop that and get folks back to work. And let's see, I had something I was going to say. So that's it.
Question number 2, Kevin Garner, you will answer first. In 2012 and 2013, Illinois has ranked 48th of 50 states in being business friendly. Our neighboring states rank from 5th to 31st. To what do you attribute Illinois' poor ranking? And as a legislator, what legislation would you sponsor to improve that ranking?
Well, I think Illinois has a reputation of being unfriendly to business, and even when we start to move in the right direction, that rumor's out there. So businesses just seem to flee from us. I think it's not just the business, it's the employees. People themselves are fleeing from Illinois. And I think it's a lot because of taxation, over-regulation. The small company that I work for in Charleston, small heating and air and plumbing, they've just enforced the new city ordinance of $25 per minute that we have to pay every time we install water. And small business, which therefore goes on to the consumer, which it's just revenue. And I think that's a good way is get rid of some of these senseless, useless regulations. I was a small business owner myself. I had 18 employees, and I'm sure Reggie will tell you the same thing. There's so many regulations that are strictly revenue and strictly to hold the business down. I would support any legislation that would help business come into the state. I know there's maybe some tax credits there. To bring jobs into the area. Thank you.
Reggie Phillips, would you like me to repeat the question? In 2012 and 2013, Illinois has ranked 48th of 50 states in being business friendly. Our neighboring states rank from 5th to 31st. To what do you attribute Illinois' poor ranking? And as a legislator, what legislation would you sponsor to improve that ranking?
Well, to me, the issue is our workers' compensation rates. I have 400 employees, and I deal with this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis of the workers' compensation rates. I've been through this district, and from Coles County all the way to Lawrence, the same issue with all these businesses is they have jobs. They would like to create jobs, but the two things that are holding them back are the workers' compensation rates. And the second thing is this Obamacare. And first, let's go back to the workers' compensation rate. In 2011, the legislators did pass a law to work on lowering the rates for workers' compensation rates, but it has not been effective at all. It wasn't enough, and it didn't assure businesses that the workers' compensation rates would go down, and they did not go down. So we're still paying 2.5 to 5 times higher per hundred of wages paid in Illinois than you are in Indiana. The other thing is our taxes in Illinois. They're supposed to sunset in 2015. We have to make sure they sunset in 2015. These three things are what's going to drive Illinois businesses. You're going to have to build from the bottom up. The businesses in Illinois will add on the jobs of the 7.6% unemployment, which roughly is 400 and some odd thousand to 600,000 people not working. Half that would come from Illinois businesses. So you wouldn't necessarily have to bring outside businesses.
Darrell Cox, would you like me to repeat the question?
I think I got it.
Okay.
Two things are driving businesses out of Illinois and industry out of Illinois. That is workers' compensation rates, and it's our tax rates for corporations. We can't continue down this path of taxing and taxing in an attempt to balance this budget. We don't need to tax more, we need to spend less. We do have to become business friendly to get those businesses back to Illinois. As Reagan did in the 1980s, by reducing the marginal tax rates, he actually increased the amount of taxes that were taken in by the federal government. There's no reason we can't do the same thing here in Illinois. By reducing the corporate tax rates and by reducing workers' compensation rates, we can bring those businesses back to Illinois. By bringing those businesses back, we bring workers back. Workers pay taxes. That's the only way we're going to get out of this situation. We are 47th, in other words, we're in the top 3 with corporate tax rates in the United States. That has to change. We can't continue down this path, and we must change the way we do business. I would sponsor legislation. I would introduce legislation to drive those rates down if I were elected as your representative.
Question number 3, Reggie Phillips, you will answer first. The Illinois State Board of Education adopted Common Core state standards for our schools. Illinois and 44 other states adopted these standards, but the General Assembly has not acted on them. Common Core has been met with mixed reactions. Some states are now working to not be part of Common Core. Indiana is one of those. What is your opinion of Common Core, and what action would you seek in the General Assembly, if any?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience with the Common Core issue. The research that I've done on it so far by talking to the professors at the East Young University, their reaction to it is it's not good for Illinois. And based on the information I've been able to get, it's not good for Illinois. It's especially not good for downstate Illinois. Our small school districts, we're run by, a set of you elect people to be the school board. And it's our job to make sure the school board's doing the right job. And it's the school board's job to make sure that the teachers are teaching the right curriculum. But it's going to be ran by the parents, not government. Government doesn't do anything right, not even the post office. So if they can't do that right, they surely can't run our schools. The schools need to be ran by the parents, and the parents need to elect the right people to run their school systems. Thank you.
Darrell Cox, would you like me to repeat the question?
I'm good. Common Core was initially started in Washington, D.C. by a governor's association and some businesses. My problem with CORE is the fact that it stems out of Washington. Washington does not know what needs to be taught in our schools at the local level. Our schools, our school boards, and our teachers should be the ones determining what is taught in our schools. Now, I think that Common Core has some assets, but I don't think it should come from Washington. Also, if you're not aware of this, it also creates a database of children, test scores, and tests that are maintained in Washington. I don't want a bureaucrat in Washington telling our teachers, our school boards, what to teach, how to teach, and what subjects to cover at the local level. We know best what is needed for our schools and our children, not some bureaucrat in Washington. Now, they try to tell us that this was voluntary. It wasn't. If it were truly voluntary, they wouldn't withhold federal education dollars if you did not participate. So it's not voluntary, it's by coercion. So if in the legislature, if I were elected, I would do everything I could to make sure that we try to keep those federal dollars and we didn't have to participate in the CORE program.
Kevin Gardner, would you like the question repeated? Yes? Okay.
Again, Common Core, I'm against it. It sounds like a good idea on the outside, on the surface, until you get into it. A lot of my good friends, one of my best friends is an assistant superintendent at Charleston. Another best friend of mine is a teacher there locally. And boy, they talk about it all the time. It's these, it's like you're trying to teach these kids so much in so little of the time, and you're really not teaching them the skills they need to survive in life, the skills they need to be productive. And the Common Core is mostly based on the test scores, and it's unfair to judge a kid on a test score. He may be good in music or something else. It's not tested. And you know, again, you're classifying them, and I just don't think it's a good idea. I think that a good idea would be to give the schools back to the parents and the teachers in the local communities. I think the teachers know best how to teach our students, and we, the parents, know best how we want them taught. So, yeah, unfunded mandates like Common Core are just strangling our teachers.
Question number 4, Darrell Cox, you will answer first. Our state's flat income tax rate is currently protected by the Illinois Constitution. In January of 2011, our legislators increased that flat rate 66.6% from 3% to 5%. Now there are those in Springfield who want to amend the Constitution to allow a progressive income tax rate to bring more money into the state treasury. Give us your opinion of a flat rate versus a progressive rate, and tell us where you stand on a constitutional amendment to allow a progressive rate.
A progressive income tax is code for tax increase. It has nothing to do with being more fair or less fair. It's a way to increase taxes. I do not support a constitutional amendment to change the Constitution for the progressive tax rate. A flat tax, to me, is the most fair tax that we can do with to our citizens. We have to. Everybody needs to have some skin in the game. We all benefit from state government. We should all pay our fair share. A flat tax is the only way to get that fair share from every resident of Illinois. Progressive tax rate will not do that. I would not support a progressive tax, and furthermore, I would not support extending the tax increase I think we should go back to those other rates prior to the 66% increase. I think short to the point. It gets the yellow.
Very good. Kevin Garner, would you like the question repeated?
Again, that's a challenging question. In the 40s, we actually had a graduating tax. The economy was good. I'm not sure that I'm against it. I haven't done enough research to really know exactly where I stand, but I think it could be a good idea. Progressive tax, I think it could be a good idea. I think it can put some more money back into the communities. I take financial peace class with Dave Ramsey, and as he says, you can't spend your way out of debt. So, I agree that, just taxation isn't going to get us out of debt. But I do think that is a step in the right direction. I served in the Navy. They taught us that it was, if you have a hole in your ship, everybody takes the shirt off their back, pillowcase, whatever it takes to fit in that hole, that's what you use. And I think everyone is going to have to sacrifice a little bit to get us back on track, because Illinois is a sinking ship. Thank you.
Reggie Phillips, would you like me to repeat the question?
I don't think so. This is a huge issue coming up for us in this state. I'm against progressive tax rate. It's not the way to go. We don't need to change the Constitution. We have increased taxes. The corporate rate is 9.5%, and your individual tax is 5%. This is going to be an issue because by the end of 2014, we'll have collected $25 billion extra dollars. We have a budget of $33.5 billion in the general fund, not include all the other federal things. If we go back, we're going to lose $3.5 to $4 billion. Currently, on a school basis, you're underfunded now. Your school child in this district now gets $3,300 to $3,500 from the state. The state says that should be closer to $6,100. So we have a lot of issues coming at us. We're going to have to decide, we want to cut spending. We want to cut all the fat out of the budget. And the budget is 432 pages long for this coming year. And I've been breaking it down in bits and pieces and trying to figure out exactly where they spend the money, where they spent that 25. Right now it's at $19 billion, which was supposed to lower the pensions and was supposed to lower our $7.6 billion or $8 billion over our expenses, 2.6 of the Medicaid down. And it's difficult to figure out where they spent that money. So somewhere along the line, we're going to have to agree to probably an increase in personal and corporate taxes, but hopefully we'll be able to mitigate that way down to invite more businesses into the state and coupled with expenses brought down. Thank you.
Kevin Garner, you will answer number 5 first. What makes you more qualified than your opponents to represent our 110th district in Springfield?
I don't know that anybody's qualified. I've never done the job, neither have they. Any job I had on day one, I wasn't qualified, but I learned and I listened, and that's what I'll do. I'm in touch with the 110th district. I've lived in the district all my life. I'm 46. I've lived here since I was 5 years old, and I think my qualifications are that I am a successful business owner. I'm a failed business owner. I'm a success of family, failure of family. I can relate to you, the people. I would never think that the representative would be above the people. I would never pretend to be. And I think my qualifications are that I can relate to you. And I feel your pain, and I will take your voice to Springfield. I was a tax assessor, multi-township tax assessor for 10 years in Cumberland County. And I've heard and seen firsthand, hey, we're taxed to death. And 110, we can't take it anymore. Again, we're in a bad spot here, and we're all going to have to buckle down and work together. And I think my qualifications are that I will not quit on you. I'm here, and if you elect me, I'll be your voice. Thank you.
Reggie Phillips, would you like the question repeated?
I've been self-employed for 40-some years. I have 400 employees. I have the skin in the game. I want to see us so that my 9 grandchildren can stay in Illinois. So it's very, very important to me, and that's the reason why I'm in this race. I take it very seriously. I'm a hard worker, and I'm a proven leader in the things that I've done. I see all the issues. We have a Medicaid issue in this state. We have an Obamacare being shoved down our throats. It's going to be dangerous for our senior citizens. I own senior citizens' facilities, and it's very important to them that they are able to go to the same doctor that they've always had. They're going to try to take that away from us. From a state standpoint, somebody needs to be screaming and hollering. I don't hear any passion or screaming and hollering from our state representatives. And the one thing I can tell you I'll do, I'll scream and holler and bring it back to you so you'll know, you'll have a voice, you'll hear me. I'll be in your district and you have my mobile phone number. I've been passing it out. I'll be to the schools and I'll be to everybody in this business district to try to figure out what we can do to improve our district against this monster. Thank you.
Darrell Cox.
Thank you. Well, it takes a special person who wants to answer the call to be a public servant. And hats off to all the candidates that are here tonight. Running 2 sheriff's campaigns, I know what, especially those sheriff candidates are going through. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job, and the citizens deserve the best that we can offer. I'm the only candidate that has taken an oath of office to uphold the Constitution of this state and the Constitution of the United States. I take that serious. I believe the Constitution is the law of the land. I don't believe that I don't believe in a large federal government. I do believe in a small government. I also believe in a small government even at the state level. I believe that local control is always more responsive to the community's needs. I am proud of my public service, and I stand on my record and accomplishments. I want your vote because I believe I'm the best candidate, not because there's anything wrong with the other candidates. Everyone here should be commended that you came out tonight to learn about the candidates. We should strive to be informed voters, and I ask for your vote on March 18th. Thank you.
And question number 6, and this is the last one. Reggie Phillips, you will answer first on this one. In looking at the Illinois House, we can see that the Democrats enjoy a supermajority. As minority Republicans, tell us 2 real changes you can make that will help Illinois and our 110th district attract businesses rather than drive them away.
Well, we've already been touching on the 2 real main issues. The 2 things that we have to do is lower workers' compensation rate. We have to sunset some of the taxes that we're paying for now. But at the same time, there's going to have to be some arbitration in that because our school systems are underfunded. We're not funding fully the school systems in Illinois or in our district. And our district's getting hurt worse than we're getting what's left over after Chicago school system to get that money. So the way to improve our district is through education. I believe it's very, very important. I want to work with education. I want to work with junior colleges. I want to work with the business people here to try to create a business climate. I would like to have, and you already have in several, at least in this area, you already have a group that works to have land available, sewer services available, water services available for any new businesses. But it's working with the current businesses that you have to try to create the jobs that we need in the state of Illinois. And I'll work very hard to try to change that. Thank you.
Darrell Cox.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I sure will. In looking at the Illinois House, we can see that the Democrats enjoy a supermajority. As minority Republicans, tell us 2 real changes you can make that will help Illinois and our 110th district attract businesses rather than drive them away.
Well, the Democrats are in the supermajority, we are in the superminority. And apparently there are not enough of us to pass any legislation that Democrats will not support. I don't see this as a Republican versus Democrat problem. I see it as more of a Chicago versus downstate Illinois problem, or maybe north of I-80 opposed to south of I-80. I've actually talked to Dale Ryder about these very problems and how to deal with the problems. And quite frankly, there are darn few solutions. I don't believe that Republicans can introduce and pass legislation that would be signed by the governor in our legislature. What we need to do as Republicans is be aggressive. We need to get on the offensive. We need to draft and present legislation to fix our problems and get downstate Democrats on board. Let's remember, it was a downstate Democrat that got concealed carry for the state of Illinois. At the end of the day, we must become business friendly, bring the industry and business back to Illinois, thereby increasing our workforce, which increases taxpayers, which gets us out of this debt problem. Thank you.
Kevin Garner, number one, repeated.
First, I would like to say I actually did take that oath to uphold the Constitution. I served 8 years in the Navy Reserves. For businesses, you know, I don't think bashing the Democrats is the answer. You know, I really don't want to be defined as a Republican or a Democrat or a Tea Party or an independent. I'm just a human being. I'm an American, first off. And I don't think bashing one another is the answer. I think the only way we're going to get common ground is to reach across and get common ground. Or else we're always going to be fighting one another. You know, I think the Illinois is not a business-friendly state. We all know that. But we can turn it around. We can turn it around by working together. And you know, there are other issues. You know, the constituents of the 110th district have other issues than that as well. But to bring business back into our state, I just think we need to stop the useless regulations on business. I mean, I see it firsthand. It's, you know, every time you make a dime, the government's right there to take 8 cents of it. So there's really no clear answer. I don't think anybody has it, but I'll sure try. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the questions for the state representative position.